All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's get into our weekly updates. This is on the NQs, the ES, and the Dow, the YMs. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we do every week, talk about what's happening and in the upcoming week, what actually happened last week, and make a decision on what's going on. So let's get started. Before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe. Please appreciate it if you do that. That'd be awesome. It helps me build the channel. And if you here, we were looking at a support area in this line. It actually broke that support, and it actually broke right here the 200-day moving average. Remember what I said, like this could be a support area, or if it breaks, it could go down further, right? So now that it broke below the 200 moving day average, and the previous low was actually becoming a support, right? Now you have the 23.6 over here, which is now acting as resistance. Look at this day, it acted as a resistance on this day right here. Now what does that mean? Now bulls got a lot of work to do, right? If they want to bring this back up, there's a chance possibly the bulls do take it up, because look at the mountain over here. As you can see, remember I mentioned that this is the previous low of the mountain on the MACD. Now this past week, that same mountain wasn't able to be as deep as it was previously, right? So that kind of shows me that the bears are pretty much done. But that's hard. And look at these two about to cross in this area, right? If you look at the previous lows, they're all the way down over here, and that was pretty deep, right? I mean, we had this opportunity over here for a cross, but it didn't happen, and it further went down, right? So that could transpire over here again. You could have a fake cross and then make its way down further, right? And the reason for that is obvious, right? We're below the 200-day moving average, right? We are still hovering on the lower Bollinger Band. You got a lot of resistance up ahead now, and you got the 50-day looking for a downward pressure. You got MACD's below zero, so there's a lot of pressure for the bulls to perform, right? If they don't perform, the bears are going to take it, and then this is going to go back down to the 38.2. Okay, this is on the Dow Industrials, right? So if you want to be long, you want to be mindful here as to what's going to happen. Now, keep in mind, one of the biggest things that's happening is the government didn't shut down, right? And so that's why you see this skyrocketing. This value is skyrocketing because of that. Now, what does that mean? It could be a fake leg up, And when tomorrow everybody comes in, they're going to realize, okay, this is temporary. Oh, they didn't have this in there or that or whatever it may be. Just keep an eye on that, because that is what's going to bring this number up or down, right? That's going to drive this week. This is all about the government shutdown. Okay, so let's look at the ES. What's going on in the ES? All right. Okay, so similar situation, right? This time on the ES, look what happened. All right, let me actually zoom in a little bit more. Look what it did. It actually bounced off the 200-day moving average. It bounced off the lower Bollinger Band and it kind of took off a little bit, right? However, you had the 23.6 being a resistance, and you had this another resistance line right over here from the previous low. Now it's hovering on that. It needs to break that, and it needs to break the previous 23.6 on the fibs in order for it to continue right up to the mid band as well as the 50-day moving average. You have that opportunity here. There could be a possible cross that may go up. You also have to look at the previous low on these mountains. It never made it as far as the previous low. So the bulls could be in charge, but you have this pressure. So keep that in mind for the S&P 500. You got this leg up on the RSI. It's trying to make itself up. I mean, we had this low here, previous low, and it kind of gotten as far as that, but we don't want to kind of assume that it's going to continue to go back up, right? Because you have a lot of resistance here. So keep that in mind. You need to break these next few days. Let's see what happens if it continues. You see that 20-point up on the ES. Let's see how long that lasts. All right. And the NQ. Let's see what's going on with the NQ. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. All right. So NQ, pretty wild on Friday. Look at that. It went up and then went straight down. So obviously bears were in charge that day afterwards. That was because of all the government issues, right? We didn't know whether the government was going to be shut down. If it was, that could have been a disaster. Now that we know that it's not, you see the futures are up. And we actually, what happened? Look, the 23.6 held up. It bounced off the support line, the previous low support. And it's bouncing off the 200-day moving average. I'm sorry, the lower Bollinger Band, not the 200. The 200 is down here. This is the lower Bollinger Band, and it bounced off of that, and it continued to ride itself up. Now, we have to be mindful of the 50-day over here, and you got the mid band over here on the Bollinger. That is the next leg up. We have this slightly curved on the curve on the MACD here. That could be a break, which will indicate a movement towards the upper side, and we got this RSI pointing upwards. So it'll continue. I mean, it broke the previous. Look at this right here. It broke this. Next leg up is going to be here, which it tried and it did. This has to break that, and then the next leg up is here, which you got a lot of resistance in this area. So keep that in mind this coming week. It's going to be a lot going on. Be mindful of all of this pressure on the top. You'll have fake squeezes up. You want to be extremely careful about that. Be very mindful and watch what's going on the higher playing field. I'm going to take a look at another stock. I've done this previously on previous calls, and we're going to look at Apple. Oh man, it's AAPL. All right. So remember, we did the same thing. We put the fibs on this I'm going to zoom in and kind of take a look at what's going on. And the reason why I'm picking Apple is because of all the new iPhone shenanigans that are happening, right? So after the high, it came down all the way down here. It broke the 23.6 and it tried to go down to 38.2 and went back up. Then we had a couple of support areas. It broke through the support area. It broke through the 200-day moving average, and it's trying on the lower Bollinger Band, right? And you have this trend downwards. It didn't break this. It kind of held up there, and now it's on its way down. What I'm thinking over here, you see this? This is actually on its way down further. So there's possibility of some room for it to go down a little bit more, especially because you have the 200-day and the lower Bollinger Band here. So that's where we're at on Apple. If you wanted to get in before the holidays, this 65 area would be an area that you would want to get in. And then obviously it could go up as high as 80. But 65 is a number where I would try to target as a buying area. I don't know if I want to get in right at this moment because I see that pressure coming down. It didn't break this. And what you want to do is look for that opportunity down here. Okay. Any questions, please reach out to me, PriceIsKing.com. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.